Welcome to this introduction of Mozaik Enterprise. In this video, I'm going to take a real quick run through of what Mozaik Enterprise is, and we'll take a look at whether or not this will be useful for you to upgrade to. So why Mozaik Enterprise? Well, the first reason is that it gives you the ability for the users to access which features they can control. So you can lock people in and out of certain features of the software. You've got the ability to eliminate production errors by having a high detail view of the job. You can protect your work by having a more robust backup and job recovery system. You can save time with job-wide changes, which is a really useful feature. And then finally, you can find, sort, and manage jobs. And we're going to take a look at each one of those in a bit more detail. A quick look at the user admin controls here. You've got the ability to lock people in and out of certain areas. You can control whether people can see pricing and markups. You can control whether people can edit the library. You can also control whether people have the ability to optimize and send jobs to the CNC machine. On the job dashboard, you've got the ability to view a zoomed out view of the entire job. You can change settings, materials, textures, hardware for any one of those rooms within a job at once, which just is a real time saver, and I'll run through that in more detail in this video. We're also going to take a look at the new job manager screen. This is the new sort of loading screen of Mozaik in the enterprise level, and it gives you the ability to categorize your jobs, which is a real handy feature when multiple people are using Mozaik in the one enterprise company. Let's take a look at the job recovery feature. So the new job recovery backs up every 5 minutes, and it really will save you even if you go ahead and close without saving your job. We'll take a look at how that works as well. All right, so let's get into Mozaik and take a look at this new functionality. So starting here on the new job manager screen. So this screen here, as you can see, looks fairly different to what you've been accustomed to in Mozaik. And this gives you the ability to categorize your jobs. What you'll notice straight away across the top of the screen here is there's categories. I can look at all the categories at once, browse down into just the active jobs, look at my completed jobs, any jobs that I might have quoted and lost, or any jobs that I've moved to the trash bin. So let's take a look at how this would work in a practical sense. We'll start on the active jobs here, and I'm going to scroll down to any jobs that I drew in 2022. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the first one down to the very last one on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and press the button over here that says Move to Category. I'm going to go drop that down and choose to move this to a completed category and press OK. Effectively, the idea of this is it's giving you the ability to really control which jobs are actively in production or being worked on in your business. So if you've completed a job, maybe there's a few jobs here that you quoted and they were lost, or the customer decided to not move through with the job. So you could go ahead and press Move to Category, and you'd move that then to the lost category. And then that would appear in the lost category. You'll notice as soon as you mark a job as completed or lost, it does change to this like pale gray color, which is indicating that the job has been locked. That way, no changes can accidentally be made to that job afterwards, which is really good because it means you can come back to it confidently knowing that that job has been remained as is or as was at the time of production. You could always go back in and unlock the job should you need to actually modify that. Coming back to the active job screen then, let's just take a look at moving a couple of jobs there into the trash bin. So let's go Move to Category, and we'll just move these ones into the trash bin. So the idea is we really want to simplify the amount of jobs that are on this screen in your active category list. You've also going to see details like the customer information, a new job abbreviation option, and we'll take a look at that in this video as well. Coming across then, you've got your date modified, the user that worked on this job, and we'll take a look at that as well. The statuses, and you can also create your own statuses and color code them for clarity, and then the ability to tag a job as well. You can turn categories on and off, so everything's sort of customizable in the settings option, which will appear down on the right-hand side here. And as you'll see when I open that, if I don't want to see some of these categories, if I don't really care to see the address or the email, I can go ahead and turn off the particular categories that I might not want to see and just simplify what is on this menu. Coming across, we'll go back to the settings and we'll take a look at the job status. These statuses are customizable by you, so you can go ahead and add your own custom status in and assign a custom color to that status. So let's take a look at maybe taking the design one that's there and pressing Edit, and we'll go into the color, and let's say we maybe want to assign like a magenta color to anything that is in the design phase. And we'll take a look at pressing OK there, and now you'll see anything that's in the design phase will show that magenta color. So it's just a quick way of viewing that to see how many jobs you've got in design, how many are in production, how many are on hold. So with the design there, you can drop that category down and change the job. So at this level, I can say that job's moved into the production phase. The other thing you can do there is assign tags, which can also be done in the settings there. So if you wanted to assign a tag as maybe things that you've got test in, or the things you're out running at the CNC, or maybe they're things that they could be like an architect's name or a builder's name. They can be really used for anything you might think it would be useful in your business. So you can go ahead and create your own tags as well, reorder them as needed. So let's say I want to go ahead and select this first one here, and I'm going to move that into a builder ABC tag as an example. And then the nice thing about this, let's say we've got a few of these jobs that have been assigned to this particular builder, and we want to go ahead and just search via anything tagged to that builder. I can just simply start typing any of the key phrases within that tag, and it will go ahead and filter the list down to just those jobs as well, which is really nice. So you could search for ABC or builder, and you would filter the list to that particular tag. So I think that the tag feature, and even it'll even search for just the job name as well. So like I've got a job there called AAA. So I'll just start typing. And as you can see, the second keystroke of the two A's, it's filtered just down to the job that I had named, for example. So the search is definitely a really cool and quick way of filtering your jobs, but also just using the categories to really filter down to just the active jobs that you're working on is really a nice job management feature. It also does show in the bottom corner here, like the counts of the 67 active jobs. And then you can see here that the job directory for my computer here is currently set to C drive Mozaik jobs. So if you're wondering where your jobs have been saved, a quick view in that bottom left-hand corner will point that out for you. When you're looking at this screen, you've got the ability to just go ahead and create a new job as per usual. That button's a lot bigger than previously, but you've also got the ability to select from a template, which is really nice. Previously, you would create a job, name it, and then maybe select your template. So just a bit of a quicker process to get there. So I could say, look, I want to create a new job from my Shaker template, and then go ahead and press new job. And let's just call this Shaker example 1, and we'll press OK. And what you'll see there is that when I go to the settings, it's already got that Shaker template assigned in the settings here. So it just gets me, a quicker process to getting to that point. So a nice ability to do that. I did touch on earlier that there's a new job abbreviation option in 12.2. This feature is available for all Mozaik users. It's not an enterprise level option. So that is a really cool, useful thing. And I'll be doing some videos on 12.2 as well to run through those kind of things. But the idea here is like, if you wanted to shorten the G code name, you could use your abbreviated job name to do so. So rather than Shaker example 1, I might just call that Shaker, or, I might just really shorten it down to or something like that. Or maybe you use a job number in quoting sequence, you want to list the quote number or the invoice number on the job abbreviated option. You can go ahead and do that there too. So let's look into the next key feature of Mozaik Enterprise, which is going to be running through the admin control. So let's take a look at how to get into the admin control. We're going to go into Tools and then come down to the Admin Center. So in the Admin Center, what you'll see here is we've got the ability to create roles or create new levels of options for the different users within your company, right? So what we can see here is that I'm listed as a super admin, which means that if we let's expand this menu across here so we can see it a bit clearer. I've got the ability to edit, and I've got full access to the pricing tab, and I can send jobs to the optimizers. So the things that you can control here is whether I'm allowed to edit other users' jobs. So let's say you're working in a company with 5 users and you've got a super admin that's allowed to go in and modify everyone else's jobs to check them and that kind of thing. You would want that person to be able to edit everyone else's jobs. Now, let's say you had designers in your company and you only wanted them to be able to edit their own jobs. Well, you've got the ability to go ahead and nominate these things. And I'll show you, we'll walk through how to create a new one as well, just to give you a bit of an idea. Sticking to the high level overview, the product editor here has the ability to, like, whether or not they're allowed to edit products on a cabinet level. So going into the product editor and making changes to that product. So maybe you've got designers that are only allowed to drag and drop onto the screen and they're not allowed to modify those library cabinets. Well, then you can change the view of what they're allowed to do there. Whether or not they're allowed to change job parameters, whether or not they're allowed to view or edit markups. So, whether they can see the markups, you can hide them altogether, or you can give them view-only access if that's what you want to do. And then pricing tab, whether it's read-only, full access, and we'll take a look at the options there too. Coming down, then you've got the ability to whether or not they can edit libraries, which is a big one. Often there might be multiple people working in a company, and you want to make sure that not everyone's going in and editing the library or saving things back to the library. You might want to lock that down and say, look, I'd prefer to have a nominated person within my company that is allowed to edit the library. Everyone else will be locked out of that. So you really control that with this enterprise level option. Coming down, then you've got the ability whether or not this person can send to the optimizer, whether they're allowed, to see the optimizer libraries, tooling libraries, things like that, machine library, tool library. That's what we're referring to there. And then the ability whether or not they can create G code for a CNC machine. So that's a pretty cool thing. As I mentioned, you can create users here, and you can also go into a role manager and create your own roles. So we'll look at that next. We'll go into the role manager by clicking the button on the right-hand side there. And in this role manager, what you'll see here is that I've got a few different roles created. I've got a designer, a senior designer, a detailer, an admin, and a super admin. And then we'll just take a look at the different levels of control there. So you can see that the designer, they don't even see other people's jobs. It's hidden access, so meaning that they won't even see the other jobs in the list. They'll only see what's in their list. Coming down then to the senior designer, they've got read-only access, so they can see the other people's work, but they can't edit that. They can only open it up and view it. So you can really tailor the level of control for each of these different levels that you're going to assign to your employees or your workers, right? So coming down across, you can see same kind of option, 3 options on all of these different options. So you can choose whether the sender optimizer option is not there, whether, they don't even see the optimizer libraries, whether they can create G code or send to the G code, whether the pricing and markups are completely hidden or they have read-only access or they can edit them. So the cool thing is that you can go ahead and create your own roles that are suitable for your company and the different levels of options you might need. And then you can go ahead and create your own users. So I can create a new user here, give the user a name, and then I can choose which role they fit. So I can customize it right here, or I can say, look, this person's a senior designer, and I might want to have a password associated to that, right? So with the password option, you've got the ability over here to press edit passwords, and you can show the passwords if you want. So you can see my password here is just set to CADmate, for example, but you can go ahead and create your own passwords and, nominate what you want that to be. And the idea there is that when you sign out, and then it'll prompt you to log in with your particular username and password. Now, you can force a sign out every time Mozaik closes. So you could say, look, sign out on close, which means that every time you shut Mozaik down and reopen it, then it will force you to log back in. If you're sharing your computer with multiple people, that's a great idea. If you're going to maybe just have each person on their own individual computers, then you probably don't want to force them to sign out, which you could set that option to never. Or maybe you want to have it sign out every day or 7 days or, once a month or twice a month, So you've got those options there to force the level of sign out options for you. So I think the user admin control is a really key feature of Enterprise. And if you're in a company where you need that access, then that's a no-brainer that Enterprise is going to be suitable for you. If you're in a small company where you don't have multiple people using, then you probably won't see great use for that feature. But we'll take a look at the next feature, which may be a beneficial option for everyone. Let's go ahead and just nominate a password. I'm just going to keep it the same as my other ones and go ahead and press OK to exit back out of there. So let's take a look now at the next option, which is the job dashboard. You'll see there's a button here that says job dashboard. So once we click on the job dashboard, that's going to get us into a high-level view of this job. Now, at the moment, I've got a job open that only has one room, so it's not really going to display the functionality and features of this. So let's go ahead and click OK back out of there, and we'll go ahead and switch to a job that has more features or more rooms in that job. So I'm going to use my enterprise example job. And as you'll see in this list, I've got 8 rooms in this job. Now, imagine the situation where a customer said to you, look, I've decided to upgrade my drawer hardware. The drawer guides that I was going to use, I've got a bit more room in the budget and I can go ahead and upgrade them to the more expensive option. Currently, you would have to go through all 8 of those rooms in the settings one by one to change them. And if I can go into hardware now to demonstrate this, what you'll see here is that I've got these first 4 rooms set to Blumentara, and then these 4 rooms set to Bloom Metabox, right? Now let's say, what if I wanted to change them? Well, I can highlight all of them, right click and go edit selection. And I can go ahead and choose my new option. So maybe they're going to move to the, let's say, the new Bloom Marivo box, or maybe they can afford the Bloom Allegra box, for example. So go ahead and nominate the one that you wanted and press OK. And then it's going to change all 8 of those rooms in the one hit. If you're a company that does, 10, 15, 20, 30 room jobs, this is a huge time saver. This is something that will be worth the enterprise upgrade alone, because the time saving functionality of being able to make those changes at a high level for all rooms in a job is really a key feature of this enterprise level functionality. Now let's take a look at the other key thing that I would use this for. When you're looking at multiple jobs, it can be really hard to go through each of those rooms within like one large job and find any kind of mistakes that might have been made, or maybe overrides that are on a cabinet that you didn't quite catch. Just catching one mistake a month alone will be worth the price of upgrading to enterprise. So let's take a look at what that might look like. So in this example, right, I've got my doors and drawers. So what we're seeing across the top here is the regular settings pages, the different pages. If we go back a step here and take a look on the settings tab, you're going to have the different tabs across the top. It's the same kind of thing, but on the job dashboard, we're seeing that for all of the rooms within that job. And I can expand out the rooms and see the individual cabinets within each room. So imagine, in the kitchen, you needed to change some of the cabinets and you needed to maybe change the textures of those cabinets, right? Well, you can highlight all the ones that you wanted to change, all the specific ones that you wanted to modify there, right click and go edit selection, and then go ahead and nominate a different option. So I'm just going to go choose a different option there, and then you'll see that it overwrites those and it color codes it as well, which is a really key feature. It color codes it to tell us that that's been overridden. And that's kind of what I'm getting at there, is that, if you're looking for those high level changes, you can really just expand out the rooms here and see the kind of what options each one of these are set to. And if I go into my doors and drawers, for example, and branch out each one of these, I've got then, a quick overview, making sure, okay, are the selections for all these correct? I could check it on a cabinet by cabinet level, or just a high level kind of what's that room set to, so you can really branch into the finer details. You can also choose whether or not you want to show like non-numbered products. So that could be useful, for example, for things like end panels and fillers. If there's any of those in your job, so just to show you that, kind of if I turn off my non-numbered products, then the fillers and panels will be hidden. If I have them enabled, then my fillers and panels will also show in this list. You can also choose whether or not we want to see door profiles, which is pretty cool, because right here I've got a shaker door selected. And if I want to nominate or just check that my tooling for all of the products in all of the rooms are set correctly, well, then I can go ahead and see that at a high level as well. So now I can see, okay, well, I've got my shaker 3mm down spiral, 6mm deep profile selected in this kitchen. And that's selected the same for all the cabinets in this kitchen. I've got my 40mm hog-in tool nominated, and it's selected the same for all of the cabinets within this kitchen. So what you can see there is it's quite a really quick and easy way to just check a job before you put it into production, to make sure that everything's set the way you're expecting it to be, which is, I think, the key thing of enterprise really is, we're trying to minimize mistakes here for large production. So we're really looking at ways of just looking at a lot of data in a condensed way. Of course, you can also print this list or export this list out to something like a CSV to maybe pass that along in Excel or something like that. Okay. You've also, you can see the color code option down here. The blue is indicating a cabinet level override. If you've made a face or interior tab override, then it'll highlight in red. Or if you've adjusted a door based on the sizing conditions in your door library, it'll highlight green to flag that that's taken place. You've also got the ability to reorder rooms in the job dashboard. So if this changed, and let's say I've done all my multi-print drawings and I've sort of got all that ready to go, but then you know what? I just wanted to say, look, the wardrobe was needing to be room number 5. I can go ahead and reorder them, and it will keep all the multi-print drawings in place. It's not going to mess your multi-print pages up. So that's a really nice function of that feature as well. It'll restructure that to be, room 5 instead of room 7, and keep that all in play. Now, Let's jump out of the job dashboard, and we're going to take a look at the job recovery option. Now, a little bit of a difficult one to demonstrate, but I'll talk you through it and explain what's happening. So if we go like into this job, right? Well, you won't actually really see this, but what is happening in the background is Mozaik is saving that job every 5 minutes. It doesn't interrupt your workflow. You won't even really notice it's happening. But what will be happening there is it's saving an auto backup of that job every 5 minutes. So under the help menu for enterprise level customers, you're going to have a new option there that says check for job backup. You can click that option and it's going to prompt me and show me here. So you can see that the time I last saved this was Wednesday, the 16th of August at 9:21 a.m. Now, the date of the last backup was at 9:54 a.m. So as you can see, that's a newer option. So if I wanted to recover the newer option, I can go ahead and leave all those on, press OK, and it's going to recover the more recent copy that Mozaik has saved compared to when I last clicked the save icon, which I think that's just such a brilliant feature because you can really forget about ever losing work. So that wraps up the overview of Mozaik Enterprise. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I think there are going to be many customers that will really take a lot of benefit from Mozaik Enterprise. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.